Hello, friends. Welcome to another session on quant preparation for CAT and other MBA entrance exam. What we are going to do today is a topic on ratio proportion variation, and we will try to see how it is some of the problem that typically span out in this area. So, as you know, what we do typically is we do one topic, we pick up one topic, do a fundamental session on that, which we have done for ratio proportion variation in the earlier session. I will link that in the I button or in the description box. You can have a look. So that's the fundamental session where we talk about the concepts, all the important formulas, the shortcut techniques that you can use to cement your understanding on that particular concept. Then we typically move into the level 1 problem session. So this is the first level 1 problem session on ratio proportion variation, where we will choose some of the problems which has, I will say, medium probability to come in an exam, but also cements your understanding by using a problem. So if you have done the fundamental session, this is the logical follow-up of that. Once you've done this, then in the next session we will go to the advanced level problem, where the probability of those problems coming to the exams are comparatively high, but not saying that problems we are going to solve in today's session will not come. Exams like NMAT, SNAP, IFT, where there is a speed kind of a exam, and problem difficulty levels are not possibly at as high as CAT or SAT. There are higher probability of in exams like NMAT, SNAP, IFT, you can get some of the similar problems we are going to solve in today's session. In CAT and SAT also you may get some of this type of problem, but more chance of problem in CAT and SAT, what we are going to solve in the next session, where typically advanced level problems. But to get into the advanced level problem, we typically need to have the fundamentals in place, level 1 of problem solving session in place. So that's how we follow with all the other topics, and that's what we are going to do for ratio proportion variation as well. So if this understanding is clear, let's move on with the first problem. Try to see. So yeah, if you see the problem, it typically talks about there is a ratio given between A and B. A is to B is 4:3, and they have find out the value of another ratio using A and B. So what we normally do is, if we know the ratio, what we can do is we can possibly convert into a equality sign. So if I say A is to B is 4:3, how I can make what is A and what is B? So we know from proportion sign to the equality sign. So if I have to say, if A is equal to 4x, then B should be equal to 3x, where we know x is a constant and x has to be greater than 0. So this is the way we convert a proportion to a equality sign. So we are saying if A is 4, B is 3. We are not saying A is 4 and B is 3. We are saying if A is 4, then B is 3. So x basically denotes a multiple. So if x is 1, then you know A is 4. If x is 2, you know A is 8, and B is 6. If x is 3, you know A is 12, B is 8, sorry, B is 9. So in all these cases, you see 12 is to 9 or 8 is to 6. Everywhere you see the simplified version of A is to B is 4 is to 3. So that's how we convert, like we decided in the fundamental session, and that's how we convert a ratio into absolute value. So 4x being said, we are not again with, since x is a constant and x can take any, and that constant can be of any value. So that's why we are multiplying 4 with x and 3 with x to get it to the this level, and x has to be greater than 0. A ratio is not normally deal with the negative part of it. So if we know A is 4x and B is 3x, we can try solving. So what is 2a plus 3b? So 2a plus 3b will be 2 into 4x plus 3 into 3x. So that means 8x plus 9x, 17x, and a square minus b square is basically 4x whole square minus 3x whole square, right? That would be equal to we can say your minute 16x square minus 9x square up to 7x square. So that's what we can say. We know a is to b, we know 2a plus 3b will be how much, and a square minus b square will be how much. And so if we do what we are asking for, 2a plus 3b is 2a square minus b square. So if we know a square minus b square, it's basically same as so when I say the ratio 2a plus 3b is to a square minus b square can be same as written as 2a plus 3b divided by a square by b square. So this is 17x and this is 7x square. So here we can say 17 by 7x. So since there is a x component to it, we may not be able to say definitively what is the value of 2m plus 3b because x is still a constant where which value we don't know. So normally if you see this kind of problem where you have 2m plus 3b is 2a square minus b square, typically this kind of problem you may not be able to solve it because in the numerator of 2a plus 3b it's a linear. So the highest power of a and b is 1 here. So you will always get in terms of exponent as 1, whereas a square minus b square is typically a exponent of power of 2. So the highest power is 2. So you will always get the exponent as a square. So obviously it will not inside, but you found the idea. If we would not have got the x, we would have got the answer as 17:7. But since we have the x, we may not be able to get the answer. So typically, none of this or cannot be possible is kind of an answer, right? Okay, so we got 17:7x. So basically, we can say typically 2a plus 3b is 2a square minus b square is typically can't be determined because there is a x component to it for which we don't know the value. So obviously we will not be able to compute this. Moving on to the next problem. Just a minute. Yeah. So if you can see typically, you say a is to b is given, b is to c is given, c is to d is given. What they are asking me to find out is a is to b is to c is to d. So you can find out a is to b is 4:5, b is to c is 3:2, c is to d is 1:3. The idea here is finally we have to find out a is to b is to c is to d. So if we have to find out this, what we have to do is in the first ratio there is AB, second ratio BC, third ratio CD. So B is common in first and second, C is common in second and third. So we have to equate the make sure the value of B in both first and second are equal. Similarly, if you have to make equal value of C equal in second and third. So that's there is a continuous. We can make a continuous choice. So if B is same in both first and second, we will be able to find out A is to B is to C all because B is common in both the cases and B is same. So to make B same or C same in both first and second and third respectively. So to do that, if we multiply or divide a ratio both the values with the same value, then it won't change. So what I mean by that is 2:3 is same as if 4:6. So what I have done, I have multiplied this with 2. I have multiplied this with 2. So 4:6 is same as 2:3. So with that we have to equate. So 5 and 3 pay. What is the common area or LCM? So B is 5 here, B is 3 here. So the lowest common multiple between 5 and 3 is 15. So to get to 15, I have to multiply the first one with 3. So this will become 12 is to 15. And to make B is to C in that B as 15, we have to multiply 3 with 5. So if I am multiplying 3 with 5, I will multiply the 2 with also 5. So this will become 15 is to 10. So if C is becoming 10, here I have to make this C also equivalent to 10. So then I have to multiply this C with 10. So this is 10. So the 3 will also be multiplied with 10. So this is 30. So I know now both the B's are same. Both my C's are also same. So now I can write A is to B is to C is to D. 12 is to 15 is to 10 is to 30. Right? A quick check on this, what you can do here is you will not find whenever you have to do a final ratio calculation of all the variables, you will not be able to find any common variable between 12, 15, 10 and 30. Then you will and that also validates whether your answer is right or not. If there is any common factor between 12, 15, 10 and 30, then you know that's not what you got is not the final answer, or it needs to be simplified further. So if you see 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. So out of that, apart from 1, there is no common factor. 2 is not there in 15. 3 is not there in 10. 4 is not there anywhere. 6 is not there in 15 and 10. 15 and 30. 15 and 10. Yeah. So there is no common factor between 12, 15, 10 and 30 apart from 1, which is a factor of all the 4. So that's where I also validate this answer is correct. Okay. This is clear. Let's move to the next problem. So this is a problem in type of a sentence. So it says, in an examination, the marks scored by Shyam and Dana were in the ratio of 4:7. So can I say Shyam and Dana is 4:7? So that reminds me, if Shyam is 4x, Dana will be 7x, where x is greater than 0. Right? If Shyam is 4x, Dana is 7x. After taking improvement exam, their marks increased 30 each. So then Shyam now is 4x plus 30, and Dana now is 7x plus 30. Both of their marks increased by 30 each. Now the ratio is 2:3. So can I say 4x plus 30, this is the current score of Shyam, and current score of Dana is 7x plus 30 is in the ratio of 2/3. So that's how you have to formulate an equation when there is a problem given in terms of a story. So then you have to form an equation. So this is the equation we have formed. So this is the equation we have formed here. So 4x plus 30, which is the current score of the Shyam, is to current score of Dana, which is 7x plus 30, is same as 2:3. So we have formed this equation, and we just need to solve this equation. What are the initial marks? Initial marks means they are asking for what is the value of 4x, what is the value of 7x. So for that, we need to know the value of x. So if you solve this equation, just cross multiply. So you will get 12x plus 90 is equal to 14x plus 60. Correct? Yeah. Then taking the x on the other side, it becomes 30. 16 this side is equal to 2x, or we can say x is equal to 15. If x is equal to 15, we know 4x is equal to 60, and 7x is equal to 105. So you can also cross check if it was say 60 and 105 before. After adding 30 marks, it will become 90 and 135, which again you can see 90 is to 135. If you divide with 45 both these spaces, you will get 2:3. So it's kind of true. So I'm just back testing my value 60 and 105 is the initial marks is correct or not. Yes, it is correct, because if we just did the back testing and we got the 2:3 as an answer. So 4x and 7x. So this is the marks of Shama, and this is the marks of Dhana. Shyam and Dhana. So this is how you calculate when there is a story level problem. You just create an equation based on the condition given, and then you solve the equation to get the answer. So that's how we solve, and we will see some of the problems, most of how they are given at a story basis in terms of a story and how to solve that particular problem. Let's move to the next one. Just a minute. Yeah, so if you can see this, it shows again a story kind of problem, and we will just go step by step and try to formulate an equation. So the first one says the ratio of the present age of a man and his only daughter is 4:1. So can I say the man is to daughter is 4:1? So that means if the man is 4x, the daughter is x, right? Where x is greater than 0. The man was 30 years old when his only son, who is 3 years younger to his daughter, born. So previously, when the man was at 30, son was just born. Son just born. At that time, the son was 3 years younger to daughter. That means the daughter was of 3 years. So what is the difference between man and the daughter? That time was 30 minus 3, 27. Now, if you also know, if someone's age difference was 27 years, let's say 10 years before, 10 years after also the age difference will remain same, because both of them has increased by 10 years. So the gap between the ages will always remain same for all subsequent years. So can I say when the only son born earlier, man's age was 30 and the daughter's age was 3, so that time their gap was 27. So as on date today also their gap should be 27. So if I know this, then I can say 4x minus x, this is the gap as of today. This is equal to 27. Because 4x is the man's age as of today, x is the daughter's age as of today. So if we consider both of this, it has to be the gap is same 27 as it was in the past. So that I can say 3x is 27, and I can say x is 9. Now this, they said, what is the present age of his son? So present age of his son I will calculate, but first understand x is 9. So man's present age is how much? 4 into 9, 36. What is daughter's present age? Daughter's present age is 3, so not 3, x, so 9 only. And what is the son's present age? So son is basically 3 years younger to his daughter. So 9 minus 3, 6. 6 is the answer. Okay. Moving on. Let's move to the next problem. It says a purse contains 2 rupees, 5 rupees, and 10 rupee coins in the ratio of 7:4:3. So the total value. So there are two entities here. If you see 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee, there is one thing given in terms of value and one thing given in terms of a number. So if I say 2 rupees coin, the number may be 1, but the value may be 2. So this is a difference. So you need to, whenever there is a currency denomination is given, you need to be aware of what is the ratio in terms of value, what is the ratio in terms of the quantity or the number. So there are 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee a coin. The quantity ratio is given 7:4:3. So 2 rupees is to 5 rupees is to 10 rupees. The ratio given is 7:4:3. This is quantity or number. This many 2 rupee. So if you have 7x 2 rupees coin, you will have 4x 5 rupee coin, and you will have 3x 10 rupees coin. So in terms of value, can you tell me what will be the Okay. So if we have 7x of 2 rupees coin, the total value should be 14x, 14. If you have 5 rupees coin, just think if you have 5 rupees coin, your value will be 20. And if you have 10 rupees coin, your value will be 30. So this is in terms of value. So if we can 2:5:10. So if we can further simplify by dividing by 2, so I can get 7:10:15. So this is the ratio in terms of value. They said the total value is 192. So I can say this is for 2 rupees, value will be how much? 7x. Similarly, for 5 rupees, value will be 10x. And for 10 rupees, the value will be 15x. So if I add all this, it is becoming 32x. This is equal to 192. That's what they have given. Again, I'm forming an equation. So from here, I can say x is equal to 6. If it is 6, what is the number of 5 rupee coin? The number of 5 rupee coin is 3x. So there are 3 coins. So 3 into 6, 18 is your answer. Because this is 3. So you have, so you can see this as well. So the ratio, the quantity wise, 2 rupees, 5 rupees, and 10 rupees was how much? This is 7x, 4x, and 3x. And the value wise, the same becomes 14x, 20x, and 30x. So that's what we did in terms of ratio. And once we get the value of x, we just calculate the value of 3x. Oh, sorry. They have asking for the, what is the number of 5 rupees coin? Sorry, I calculated for the 10 rupees. So the 5 rupee coin has to be 4 into 6, 24. So this 24 is your answer, not 18. What is the number of 10 rupee coin? The answer is 18. What is the number of 5 rupee coin? The answer is 24. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next problem. What they said, 5 years ago, the ratio of age of Anant and his wife is 8:7. 5 years ago, the ratio of age is 8:7. Which of the following can be the ratio of their age 10 years from now? Let's see. So this is not the value they are asking to find. They are saying what is the possible answer given this answer options are there. So 5 years ago, the ratio of the age was 8:7. So Anant and his wife. So let's say Anant is to wife is 8x. Sorry, not 8x. That's right. 8:7. This is 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, if this is 8x Anant, then his wife would be 7x. Now, they said 5 years ago, which is following can be there is 10 years from now. So 5 years ago to 10 years in future. So total 15 should be added. So 10 years after, Anant would become 8x plus 15 and his wife become 7x plus 15, right? So Anant would become 8x plus 15 and wife will become 7x plus 15. So they are saying 8x plus 15 is to 7x plus 15. Which of these are the possible answer options? Let's do a simplified approach. So if you know, let's say there is a ratio. Let's say there is a ratio 1:2. And if you recall the fundamental session class, you will see, and you would have got it by now, but I'm again re-explaining. So if a ratio is 1:2, if you add a fixed number to both of them, what is the value of 1:2? 0.5. If you add a fixed number, let's say I add 3 in both numerator and denominator, what will happen? 1 plus 3, 2 plus 3. So this is 2/5, right? This is 2/5. Sorry, my bad. This is 4/5. So the ratio becomes 0.8. So the ratio has increased if I add a fixed number. Let's take another example. Now let's say 10/12 as a ratio. If you what is the value, let's say 0.8 something. Now if you add 10 to both of them, it will become 20 by 22, or we can say 10 by 11. So what is the value finally? We'll see 0.9 something. So again, the value is increased. So if the initial fraction, if you add a same number to numerator and denominator, the value of the fraction increases, right? But is it always? Let's see. What if I have a value, let's say, what if I have a value, let's say, instead of 1:2, I have 2:1. Okay. So this ratio, this fraction is less than 1, this fraction is greater than 1. So 2:1. If I add, so the value is 2 now. Now, if I add 3 to both the cases here, it will become 5 by 4. So the value becomes possibly 1.25. So again, the value is decreasing. So what we can say, if the initial fraction is less than 1, if you add a fixed number to it, the value of the fraction increases. If the initial fraction is less than 1, if you add a fixed number to it, the value decreases. Okay. So initially the ratio was Anuj is to his wife, which was 8:7. So 8:7 means the fraction is more than 1. The fraction is more than 1. If you add a fixed number 15 to it, the fraction should ideally decrease. The value should ideally decrease. So what was the value of 8:7? 8:7, if we can think of, the value will be somewhere around 8 by 7, or we can say 1.130, so 1.14, something like that. So the final value should be lesser than 1.14 because it is 8:7 is more than 1, 8 by 7 is more than 1, and I added a 15 to it. So the value that I should get here should be less than, this value should be less than 1.14, right? Understood till now? So if it is less than 1.14, let me see what are the options which are less than 1.14. So let's take I go option by option approach. So let's say 9 by 7. The first option, 9 by 7, 1.2. I can see easily it's 1.2. So it's not, this is not the answer. The second option says 11 by 8, 1.3, I can easily see, so not the option. Third option, 10 by 7, which basically says 1.4, again not the option. Then is 10 by 9. So if I see 10 by 9, it is 1.1. So if you do 10 by 9, you get 9 by 10, so you get 9, 1.019101. Yeah, so 1.11, which is less than 1.14. So this is my answer. So option D is my answer, which is 10 by 9. 10:9, because that's the possible answer. I'm not saying exact answer because they have not asked for exact answer. They have not given you to form an equation. They have asked you to check the answers and say which is the possible answer. So A, B, C cannot be possible because all these three cases, the fractional value of this ratio is more than what it was earlier, but it should not be. Since the initial ratio is more than 1, if you add a fixed number, it should reduce. So it should reduce means it should be less than 1.14 for the initial value, and only D satisfies that criteria. Yeah, clear? It's a different kind of a problem we solve. To understand, if you have any doubt, you can reach out to me in the mail ID given in the description box, or you can re-listen it once again, and we'll be able to. If still not clear, please reach out in the mail. Now, if any of the problem during the session you have any doubt, please feel free to reach out. Just put this video link in the mail body so that I can refer to what session you are referring to, and then I will possibly explain it. Okay, now let's go to the seventh problem. So it says the income of, so this is an income expense kind of a problem. So if you say income ratio is given, expense ratio is given, and they said they save 1/3 of their income. So first you understand that income minus expense is basically is your saving, right? So for D is to B, and this is for income, D is to B is 3 is to 2, or I can say if D is 3x, D is 2x. Expense is D is to B 4 is to 3. Very important part now, don't assume here also x, because x you consider for income. In the second ratio you should not consider the same variable, because then we will tend to think that 3x and 4x basically the difference is of x. We may not know, na? Because 4 is to 3 can be on a different value. So let's say the income is 30 rupees and 20 rupees. The expense can be 4 rupees and 3 rupees also. Expense can be 8 rupees and 6 rupees also. So I don't know. So there is no relation between the income and expense as of now. So don't consider the same variable or the same constant for both the ratios. So here I can say D is 4y, B will be 3y. Same y has to be greater than 0, like here x has to be greater than 0. Now this is Dhanapati saves 1/3 of his income. Now that's the condition that is given to form the equation. So Dhanapati saves means income minus expense. So 3x minus 4y is equal to 1/3 of his income. So 3x by 3. So this is income, this is expense, and this is the saving. Saving is 1/3 of his income. So 3x by 3. So can I say 3x minus 4y is equal to x, or if I side change 2x is equal to 4y, or I can say x is to y is 2 is to 1, right? 2x equal to 4y, and x by y is 4, 2y 1, or x is to y is 2 is to 1. So this is what we have found out as of now. Now what it says, what is the ratio of their savings? So the ratio of their savings for Dhanapati, it has to be 3x minus 4y, income minus expense. And for this other guy, Vairav, it has to be 2x minus 3y. Okay. So x is to y, 2 is to 1. So I can say if x is 2k, y is k. Just considering a single value so that it's easy for it to calculate. So if I just replace it here, x is 2k, so that means 6k minus 4k is to, again, 4k minus k minus 3k. So from here I can see 2k is to k, 2 is to 1. So the final ratio is 2 is to 1. 3x minus 4y. 3x minus 4y, if x is equal to 2y, from here also, if you don't want to consider k, you can from here also you can consider x is 2y. If you replace here, 3x becomes 6y. 6y minus 4y is 2y, and 2x becomes 4y. 4y minus 3y is y. Again, 2 is to 1. So either you can consider x is to y and then consider another constant like k, or you can use x is to equal to 2y and then calculate the. So the idea is again form an equation, but to understand the equation, you possibly need to understand income minus expenses 7. That's all. Moving to the next one. So we said p varies inversely. So this is a variation problem. P varies inversely with the square of q. So p varies. This is not more a ratio. Square of q, so 1 by q square. That's how you write. So from here I can say pq square is equal to constant, or even for this step I should have written p equal to k by q square, where k is constant. So from variation to this equality sign, from variation to this equality sign, we need to include k, which is greater than 0, and constant of variation. Similarly, where we have used x as a constant of ratio, here we can consider k as a constant of variation, which ensures the varies as sign converts to an equal to sign when you introduce a constant of variation. Yeah, okay. So p q square is the constant, or in this case, it may be k. Okay, moving on, when q is 4, p is 64. So if I just replace p is k by q square, we said when q is 4, p is 64. So 64 is equal to 4 square, or from here I can say with the square of q when 64. So can I say from here k is 16 into 64? K is 16 into 64. What is the value of p when q is 8? So p is k by q square again. So from here k, I know k is a constant, so the value will remain same, 16 by 64. Like 8 into 8. Q is 8, so this is 2. And this is 8. So when q is 8, is 16. Understood? Also, the other way to solve the problem is, we know pq square is constant. So if pq square is constant, this is other way of solving. So we got the answer 16. So we can say p1 q1 square should be equal to p2 q2 square. What is 1 and 2? This is the instances. First instance is p1, p is 64 when q is 4. So basically I can say this value should be 64 when this value is 4. Similarly, in the second case, you know the value of q, which is 8. You need to find out the value of p. So in the second instance, or p2, what you need to calculate, you know p1 q1, you know q2. So that way, without introducing the constant, you can also calculate. Okay, so there are two different ways. You will see this also, p2 will come as 16. Any one way you are confident, you can calculate this. Moving to the next problem, they said if 12 is the mean proportion of A and B. So what is mean proportion? So if something is a mean proportion, that means if B is mean proportion of A and C, then how we write is A by B is equal to B by C. So similarly, 12 is the mean proportion of A and B, then I can write A by 12 is equal to 12 by B. This is what? And 324 is the third proportion of A and B. So third proportion of A and B is basically, I can write, this is, you can say A by B is equal to B by 324, right? So A by B is B by 324. This is the third proportion. So the third proportion A, B, C, in that if they are all in proportion, then B is the mean proportion, C is the third proportion. So if this is the third proportion, then I have the A by B is B by 324. So this is the value is given, and they said what will be the value of which value is smaller between A and B. So what will be the value of the smaller of A and B? Okay. So from here I can easily calculate that A and B mean proportion is, so from here I can say AB is 144. Okay. So if we can find that, then we have to consider the value of, we know the value of AB. Okay. And from here we can find out B square by A is 324. If I just took B on the other side, B cross multiply basically being A down. So B square by A is 324. So we have this as an equation and we have this as an equation, right? So we know AB is 144. We know B square by A is 324, right? Or from here we can write that A by B square is 1 by 324. Okay? So then what we can do actually, is, if you see, let's say this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. So we do 1 divided by 2. So we can say AB by A by B square. So basically I'm trying to get rid of A. So 144 by 1 by 324. Oh, so 1 divided by 2. So I can say from here A get cancelled out, B gets into the top. B cube is 144 into 324. So this is 12 into 12. And 324 is typically do. So it will become, if I do 12 into 27. 12 into 27. Yeah. 12 into 27. So yeah, I have 312. So B becomes, out of this 312, 112 will come out from B cube to B. And 27, if I do a cube root, it will give me 3. So 36. So B is 36. If I know B is 36, I know AB is 144. If B is 36, so this is 36, then it has to be 4 to make it 144. So I know A value has to be 4 and B value is 36. So out of that, the smaller value is A, which is 4. Okay. So that's how we do it. You just need to do some tweak to get the final value. So, but main problem more than solving this is understanding how to write when they say mean proportion, when they say third proportion, and how to write the equation. So mean proportion means it's basically the sandwich between the first and the third value, and third proportion means it's the third value. That's where from here you can calculate. Okay. Once you know A is 4, B is 36, you can actually check and put in this equation, because we have used the first equation to get the answer. If you put in the second equation, you know 4 by 36, which is 1 by 9, is same as 36 by 324, which is also 1 by 9. So that means your answer is correct. So this is just to back test. So hope we have solved around 9 problems. So the concepts are now cemented with the different kind of problem we have solved. So in the next session, what we do is primarily go to the advanced level problems, solve a typical, complicated, a little advanced problems in ratio proportion variation. Then we move to the next topic. So if you have any doubt, any question in ratio proportion variation, please drop a mail into the mailbox, mail ID given, and we can take it from there. Hope you have a good session. Have a good day. Bye.